new cellmates. I mean, it's really not that bad. We don't mind. So we smiled and sat back and listened. Sure enough, after a few minutes, the crowd died down a little bit, and all we could hear was two angry voices shouting and ranting and raving something about Jews and customs and religion and unlawful. They went on for 5 or 10 minutes just yelling. And finally, when they were quiet, well, then the magistrate must have spoken. And he always speaks softly. He never raises his voice. No, he's a magistrate, too dignified to raise his voice. And we just heard a few words, and then the crowd went crazy, cheering and yelling. Oh, Marcus and I, we wondered, what in the world did he say? What's going to happen? We found out pretty quick. See, over all the jeers and over all the shouting came one loud noise. Crack! And with that stroke came a cry of agony. You see, what was happening was a Roman beating. See, the Jews, they got the thing down where they do the whip and they do 39 lashes. Well, the Roman beating, it's different. It's equally terrible, maybe even more so. You see, what they do is they drag you over to a post and they tie your hands up. And they strip you naked, so you're sitting there humiliated in front of a crowd who's mocking and scorning you. And while you're tied there, they call the lictors over. See, the lictor, he's no average Roman soldier, no. The lictors, they have one purpose: guard the magistrate. And that occasionally means beating the prisoners. And the lictor, he doesn't just use a long rod. No. The lictor rods, they're special. You see, the lictor rods have little metal claws grafted into the different sides of the rod, so that when they take that rod and they strike it across your back, not only do you feel the weight of the blow, not only does it bend you double over, not only does it make you feel like every bone in your spine is going to break, but those claws, they just grab your flesh. When they pull that rod back, they pull some of your flesh with it. It's a terrible thing. And that's what this prisoner out there, whoever he was, that's what he was going through right now. Well, we in the jail, we always do the same thing when someone starts a beating. We count the strokes. See, you can usually guess how bad someone is by how many strokes they receive. For the Romans, they just choose how many you deserve. So we sat and we counted. And with every stroke that fell and every cry that man gave, I remembered my own beating. And I twinged in pain. Crack. 5. Crack. 10. Crack. 15. Crack. 20. Crack. 25. And by now, the guy couldn't even yell anymore. I mean, it was a moan or a groan in pain, and the mob, they had stopped cheering by now. But the beating went on. Crack. 30. Crack. 35. And finally it stopped. We looked at each other. 35 strokes? 35 strokes with that rod? I mean, his back must be tattered. And he must have done something really serious. And then suddenly, out of nowhere, it started again. Crack! And we said, no, surely not. No more than 35. But no, it was different. You see, it was a different voice that yelled out after the beating. A stronger voice, a deeper voice. 2 prisoners, 2 new jailbirds. Maybe they were partners in crime. And sure enough, another 35 strokes landed on that guy's back. And when the strokes were done, well, the crowd left, and there was just an eerie silence. And I got up and I came to the edge of my cell, and and peered out through the bars. See, I wanted to see the two guys when they were dragged in. And secretly, I wanted to ask the jailer, what did they do? Why did they deserve that? And after a few minutes, the jailer dragged the first guy in, and behind him was a soldier dragging the second guy. And they looked pretty bad. Their backs were just tattered, bloodied and bruised. And they dragged him past all these cells and down into the inner cell. They only put people in there if they need to guard them. If they need to guard them carefully, these must have been some bad guys. And when they dragged him into the cell, I hear this familiar thud. It's a thud of wood on wood, and then a clinking. The stocks? Man, they just put these guys in the stocks? Maybe you've seen or heard about stocks before. It's just this wooden slab here. And what they do is they stick your legs through them. And maybe you think, oh, that's not that bad, but imagine this. Your back, from your neck all the way down to the back of your knees, has been beaten and torn. And all you want to do is just lie on your face in the dirt and the rocks and just try to breathe. But you see, when you're in the stocks, you can't do that. They take you and they force you down on your back, gasping in pain, and they shove your legs through the stocks and they clasp you in. And you spend the whole night just trying to remain upright, because you know if you fall back and your back touches the floor, more pain. But inevitably, through the night, you can't help it. Exhaustion takes over and you lie back and you scream in pain. And that's the night that these two prisoners were in for.